And welcome to another episode of By the Railside Podcast Movie Review. With me today, we have Justin
Hello.
and Jordan
That's me.
and myself, Zach. Jeff may pop in, he may not. It turns out he legally purchased the wrong movie and got 45 minutes into it before realizing he fucked up. So, um, what'd you think of the movie, Justin?
I liked it. I didn't realize that this is the second movie in the like a trilogy or whatever, right?
Yes.
I haven't seen the first one. I didn't realize it until like the very end. Then I was like, oh, because I thought this was the first one of the series, but it is not. So I don't know if there's pieces that I may have missed because of that, but
Uh,
um,
I don't think so. This one is pretty like standalone for the most part. Um,
Yeah, like even the people that had seen the very first movie wouldn't have put it together until the very last scene with Bruce Willis.
yeah,
yeah,
I think the movie is carried super hard by the actors. Like the actors are do an awesome job in this movie. The premise I I would have liked it if there was no supernatural element of it, and it was more just the personalities and like the girls had to figure out a way to get out, like dealing with the personalities. Uh, but other than that, I liked it. The only thing I didn't like was just like the super strength and like steel skin and shit.
yeah. It definitely showed a different part. Also, since that we've gotten into the nitty gritty, let's introduce the film.
This film is called Split, and I'll be reading a summary by. You know what, Justin? I'll let you pick. You get to pick between Claudio Carvalho, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, or Eric.
Eric.
Eric says, when Kevin Wendell Crumb, a man with 23 different personalities, abducts and keeps three teenage girls in his basement for unknown reasons. As Kevin's therapist delves deeper into his mysterious disorder, the girls must find ways to escape before a new and sinister 24th personality reveals itself. One issue I have with that is it wasn't his basement. It was a zoo's basement
That is true.
that he just sort of yoinked. Like,
Yeah.
this is mine. I'm the head of maintenance. Don't go down there.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, we should have introduced that way early. Normally, like professionals would edit that and just like cut it up together. I'm not one of those.
We're not we're,
I'm.
we're not professionals, but we're real. We're raw. And
Yeah.
fuck it, we do it live.
I'll attribute my mistake to the Mountain Dew and whiskey I had, which is I don't know why that was designed to go good with whiskey, but it's not at all.
I don't think it was.
That was bad. Um, But yeah, so this guy's got 23 different personalities, technically 24 that we get to meet at the very end. It's the second movie in the Unbreakable trilogy. That's the first movie starring Bruce Willis. It's about 17 years after Unbreakable came out that he released this one. So definitely a giant um, gap in the timeline for this trilogy. The movie itself did very well, at about 280 million at the box office worldwide, and only cost them 9 million to make. Uh, what do you guys think of James McAvoy actually being able to pull off all those different personalities?
He did an awesome job, and so did what's her face from Queen's Gambit. I I'm like that. This is the second thing I've seen her in, and she's fucking awesome.
Oh yeah, she knocks it out of the park in pretty much everything that she does. I really enjoyed the movie. James McAvoy fucking killed it in this role. Just like the slight facial tweaks that you could see that showed the differences in the characters.
Yeah.
Like especially when he was switching between Dennis, God,
Miss Patricia?
Miss Patricia, and Hedwig. Those were some of the best. But also when he was trying to trick his therapist into thinking that Dennis was actually a different
Barry.
personality called Barry. You could see like he would slightly slip when he was like rearranging things in the therapist's office, and as compared to the video diary that they had playing closer to the end.
Yeah.
I can imagine trying to cast this role would have been very weird. They're probably like, all right, play all these characters, and they're probably just like assuming that they're all just different characters in the movie, but it's just one character.
Yeah. He actually, I think it was on Graham Norton when he was when they were doing touring for Glass, which is the finale in the trilogy. He said that they actually cut out parts of him doing. He actually did like 24 different people throughout the movie, and then some of them just ended up getting cut.
Oh,
But yeah, the almost seamless transitions in between, especially near the end of the movie, or at the very end of the movie when he's digging out the fucking birdshot or whatever that's in him, and going in between the mirrors, and you could tell which character he was even before speaking, and even having the differences in tones. Like Dennis was a much more like serious tone. It was almost like a lower tone. Still had Miss Patricia as the higher tone. Hedwig with his lisps and everything like that, and then the little videos that they had of the video diaries of each other personality that was allowed to get through.
Yeah, you could really tell that they had fleshed out all of those characters. Like there was a whole world there, like just within his mind, and like each of the characters wasn't just like, oh, it's a silly voice. They had like different things about them. And like I said, that I think that's really cool. The only thing I didn't like was just like this one can lift 3 times his body weight. It's like that's not how that works.
Yeah, that's the disorder itself, which is dissociative identity disorder. It's definitely, I don't. It's one of the more harder mental illnesses for me to believe. Like these actual different things. Like out in the movie where they talked about how there was a girl who was blind for 10 years, and then all of a sudden like she'd had a new personality that actually had sight, like they could see. So, and then even the different personalities of him when he comes out in the 24th one, which is the Beast, and he's got like this insane strength and everything like that. Or Dennis they actually showed that because Dennis wears glasses, and everyone else did not wear glasses throughout the whole thing. So it's interesting to see, and it's something that pops out in after like childhood abuse, just as a way for the brain to just cope with horrific instances. But it's definitely a hard pill to swallow on what can actually occur.
yeah, and I think one of the examples of like, because even in the films, like no one believed the therapist. The therapist was part of a very small group that believed that the human mind was literally changing these people. One example of a person that happened to, she was blind for however many years, like her entire life, and then she got DID, and 3 of her personalities developed sight. So that means that her brain like rewired itself somehow for those personalities to have sight. So it was trying to go and show like maybe if there's no limits put on the human brain, well, if you destroy those limits when they're very young, the brain can do pretty much anything. That was what I think one of the main arguments for Karen, Dr. Karen was.
Yeah, I can believe. Like I don't know like what like real world scenario would be, but I can get my head around like the synapses depending on the types of blindness. Like sometimes it's the like synapses to the actual eyeballs that are damaged. Like I can see your brain rewiring for that to work. It's just with muscles and stuff like that. That was the only thing that kind of brought me out of the immersion of the thing. Everything else I could I could go along with. That was the only one that, and like steel skin or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, that one I could see a little bit just because like I know you hear about like hysterical strength in humans, like your child's pinned under a car and all of a sudden you're like, well, fuck it, and you lift the car.
Yeah.
I mean, you're gonna be hurting for a long time. I think that maybe is what happened. Like he was literally just flexing everything
He's
to
just
a point where
his
it was
99%
Yeah.
adrenaline.
well, because like when he turns into the beast, right? What happens? He falls to the ground. He sounds like he's in agony, and then all of his veins on his arm in one shot, just like from the hand up, just puffed right up. Like there was so much blood flow.
He
And
was
his
supposed to be
eyes-
like a tiger in a human or something. Was that the idea?
A little bit like what they said on the news, like in the actual movie towards the end, they were thinking that the 24th personality, the Beast, was a combination of like all the best predatory things from all the animals in the zoo.
And who gave that analysis, by the way? Because the doctor was dead.
I don't know. Well, she did say that she had a coworker. Like if anything
Oh,
happened to
that's
her, she had
true.
something set
Yeah.
up. I also kind of think
It's probably in her notes. Or...
maybe it could have been, but a little note. I think Dennis or Patricia contacted the news to give them the name because you don't hear anyone refer to what's going on inside Kevin as the Horde, but Dennis and Patricia. But then all of a sudden, at the end of the movie on the news, you hear someone close to this case has given us information and said that they're calling them the Horde. But the only two personalities are, well, I guess three if you count Hedwig. But Hedwig, Patricia, and Dennis are the only ones that actually use that throughout the movie.
Yeah.
It could be the personality that was sending the like emails for help too.
That's true. I think that was, well, it might have been Barry in the beginning, but then later on, like the final email scene, you saw that she had 20 unread emails. So I think each personality got a chance to get into the light and then send her.
Oh
an
yeah, I
email.
didn't even notice that. Yeah.
That's something that they do a lot in the movie, like and they're very accurate with that. Like the 20 emails, so like all of the personalities except for Hedwig, Patricia, Dennis, and the Beast emailed her. And in the very beginning of the movie, when they were doing the credit scenes, it split into 24. So like, oh, the director M. Night Shyamalan, and then it would split into 24 different sections on the screen. I thought that was interesting as well.
Mhm.
And yes, I did take a picture of the movie so I could count them myself.
Yeah, he had in the beginning of the movie itself. I honestly thought that Anya Taylor's character was in on it.
Yeah, I thought that too. And then I had like once they had elaborated that she was just abused, it was like, oh, she just knows because she's been abused her whole life, not because she knows this guy. But it definitely made it seem like she knew him.
Yeah, and then just and she the only time that he didn't douse her was when he or when she opened up the door and then
Oh yeah,
the lights
and when she
come.
saw that she had cut herself and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So.
But
Yeah, it was definitely a nice little like you knew like that character by that time was like definitely fucked up. But yeah, that was a nice visual way to say it without having her to be like, I'm like you.
yeah.
Yeah, and then that's actually like the Beast's whole thing is that the impure people are the people that haven't been abused or like they haven't been put through what he like called a trial of fire, pretty much.
Yeah.
When you were young.
Did you guys have any PTSD when the mother had the clothes hanger?
No, if it was like a fork at the dinner table, I would have fucking screamed. But hypothetically speaking, that may or not have happened to someone here.
Yeah. So that was good, and then the other thing that made me think is when they were still in the room, and then Dennis takes that first girl, and it's like, I choose you, and he's gonna get her to dance for him or whatever, and she tells the girl, like pee on yourself, just pee on yourself, and then it'll stop. So that almost to me at the beginning, I was like, oh, okay, so she's in on it. She knows this personality is, because there's no way you can just look at him, have him cleaning the chair that he's about to sit on, and be like, oh, he likes things not dirty. So if you don't piss yourself, it'll be fine. So
Yeah, he really fucking read out when like that.
yeah,
But it's like, yeah, just like, yeah, no, she just knows the pedophile when she sees one. That's all.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
had experience. That was my first thought. I was like, she's been through this before.
yeah,
But also at the same time, another thought popped in my head. Like, if you're gonna rape someone, especially a child, I don't think a little pee is gonna like stop.
yeah.
Yeah, but he was. I mean, he also had OCD, so it's like
That's true.
two severe disorders like fighting each other.
I don't know if they would have picked that up. Fuck, what's her name? Casey, Big Eyes. She might have picked it up because right in the beginning she was sitting in the front seat paying attention when he got in the car to kidnap them, and he put a cloth over his hand and then started taking the garbage off the dash.
Yeah,
The other two, I think they were just badly written characters, to be honest. The other two girls, they were just horrible.
yeah, they were kind of weird. The one thing that made me laugh is when the one girl she finally gets up into the vents, she just fucking falls on all fours from the ceiling and then just gets up. I'm like, God damn, like you're pretty good at taking a fall because that like
Did your knees feel that PTSD?
Yeah,
That was that.
yeah.
The 6 months of karate training at the
Yeah.
Y.
Yeah, like fucking hell.
Yeah, it was and then the way, and then she just ran to the lockers, not just like kept on running. Like I get it's a maze, it's an unfamiliar spot, but
And we find out later that if she had just run straight for like another 10 meters, it would have been out.
yeah. But yeah, they were not good. The only thing one of the main things I enjoyed about those two characters were the fact that they didn't play like the usual kidnapped characters in movies that you see, where they just sort of like, oh, like I'm here, like, hey, let me go, and they're all like weak and frail. They were just literally like, we have to go. This is a plan. Let's make plans. Let's go. Like if we all rush them, like, we can get out of this. So it showed like there's actually fight in kidnapped people. They're not just like rolling over and they're like, oh, fuck it.
Yeah, it was kind of weird that I mean, I guess she just knows from experience, but the one girl was like, let's just all bite him. And shoot, the main character was just like, nah, it won't work.
Yeah.
It was like, well, I mean, come on. Like,
I honestly think, well, the blonde girl was the only one that wanted to take action because she was the one that was like, fuck this victim shit. Let's the three of us tag team this guy.
yeah.
The chick with the mini skirt at 16, what the fuck is your parents doing, by the way? She didn't do shit the whole movie.
Yeah.
She was the blonde sidekick. She's like, yeah, let's punch him, kick him, bite him. I'll do whatever you want. And then when Blondie got locked in the closet, she was like, Casey, you got to talk to me. You got to tell me, like, what's going on? What do we do? Not a thought.
Yeah, I don't understand why they
behind that.
just beat up the 9-year-old character.
Yeah, that's my thing. Like,
Like,
and that was another interesting thing. When Hedwig was trying to get in, when the two girls were blocking the door, he couldn't get in.
Yeah.
But then as
Yeah.
soon as Dennis took over, he was literally just like forced the door open. No
Yeah.
effort, pretty much.
Do you think?
and then when that character hit Miss Patricia or whatever with the chair, she didn't even like aim for the head, or she was just a body shot and then didn't even check anything else. She just ran. It's like,
Yeah.
if you hit her once, just keep hitting. Like,
With an unfolded chair, like fold the chair first,
Yeah.
then you got more momentum and more surface area
Yeah.
smacking her. Not just like I'm gonna hit you with two of the legs and hope this goes well.
So before that, in the movie, you see Dr. Karen Fletcher addressing her on Skype, the big conference or whatever.
Mhm.
So she was able to talk to these people, and she was explaining, or someone asked, has there ever been a time where two personalities came to the light at the same time? And she explained, yeah, there was some lady whose hands were both taking notes, both in different handwriting, just showing that. I think they showed that in the movie at that time when Patricia was making the sandwiches, and she cut the sandwich, and then she lost her shit because it was cut uneven.
Oh, because it was Dennis
Yeah,
OCD.
Yeah, because I think
Okay.
they share the spotlight the majority of the time. Like Hedwig basically holds all the other personalities off and then lets them into the light because, as
Yeah.
he said, like he's the most powerful one when it comes to that. Like he can snap and he's in the light.
Yeah.
So I think that's what it was, and that's how they can have the conversations like near the end of the movie, or actually throughout the movie they had conversations with each other. So I think that just shows like they were sharing it. It also could be why she didn't go down. Like maybe
Yeah.
at the split second, like Dennis switched over and he was the one that got hit because when he was talking to Dr. Karen for the last time, rest in peace. Um, he said that he was besides the Beast, he was the biggest one. So, like when I first watched this movie, I didn't have a visual in my head, but this time I did it of 24 separate people sitting in chairs in a room, just a dark room, and those are the different personalities. Whereas before it was just like James McAvoy in a dress. But
Yeah.
this time I actually was picturing like physically different people because I guess I paid attention to the story a little more because like when he was going into describing the Beast, he's like, "Oh yeah, fingers twice as big as mine." I was like, "But all y'all guys are the same. Hedwig is the same height as Dennis." But I guess it just
Yeah.
goes to show like like the group, the Horde, don't see themselves as all James McAvoy's character. It's they're themselves. They see different things. So I wonder.
Yeah. I mean that's just like the same thing with like body dysmorphia and like trans people and stuff, right? It's like the inside you is very different than the outside you.
Yeah, I wonder if anyone with like DID has had somewhat like a new personality come to the light in the middle of fucking nowhere and like take out their wallet, look at the ID, be like, "That's not me. Whose wallet is this?"
Yeah.
I don't know how common it even is actually.
Probably not very common. Although I do know a fact from ScreenRant.com. Kevin is actually based off a real person. Or he was inspired by a real person. The man with the name of Billy McGilligan. Apparently, he got acquitted. He was the first person in the United States to be acquitted of a crime based on psychological condition. He suffered from what is now known as dissociative identity disorder, and he got admitted to a mental health facility in Ohio, and he had 24 personalities.
Yeah, it's I don't think it doesn't, because usually like the whole purpose of the development of these alter egos, or they call them alters in the movie, is to deal with um, certain traumas. So Dennis was there. He said he came to light because um, he he realized that Kevin didn't get hurt as long as everything was spotless clean. So that's why the OCD was there and everything like that. All these other ones I think just came through as either different aspects of Kevin himself, and then Hedwig is that like that throwback because if you want to be, if you want to play like you don't want to get hurt, like play weak, like go weak. That's a thing that like if you're gonna attack by a bear, play dead. Like it's that type of
Yeah,
thing. You got to seem weaker, and then the stronger people will leave you alone. But
either
Yeah.
that or I
He
think
could also like he never got to experience his childhood properly, so that could be him holding on to that.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like this is his way of somehow gaining back his childhood because
yeah,
I mean, like he said he was 9 years old, right? And Dennis said that the abuse started at 3. That's when he came about.
yeah,
So for a 3-year-old to have like force of personality, obviously they didn't have a normal childhood. So I think that might have been part of the reason why Hedwig was created.
that way. And then Hedwig got that bitch pregnant.
Oh yeah, by kissing her, by going, ah.
That was the most awkward scene. They like just held it. They're just like, "Yep, this is awkward," and you're just gonna sit in it. And I was like, "Fuck."
Yeah,
Just like he didn't even like he barely even touched her face. He was just kind of hovering there, and you're like, "What the fuck?"
yeah, etc.
I think
Yeah. What was it when he's getting locked out of the room too? They're like, "You guys are big bitches, and now I'm gonna slap you."
Yeah.
I liked how he used etc. all the time. So
Yeah.
that's like a kid thing to do. Like you learn a new word, and that's my thing for the next 6 months. I'm gonna
Yeah.
say that.
I want to know why it why Hedwig could be like, how did he find out, and how did it come about where he could just take the light at any time? Like he just had that ability. So
The way I saw it is that in a world where there's all these things in your head, who has the strongest imagination? Probably a kid. So it's not that he's like can wield it very well and he can be easily manipulated. And then when he figured out he could do that and steal it from Barry, I'm guessing Barry was probably the closest thing to like real Kevin, and that's why he was the primary. And then when the kid figured out he could do that, the two evil ones manipulated him into letting them take over because I'm guessing the other ones would make fun of him for acting like a child when he's an adult.
yeah,
Was my understanding of it, but
yeah, I thought that too. Where it was just like a kid just has that. It's not magic, but it has that special thing about them because they can just create the world however they want to see it.
Yeah, and I guess if you're talking about like it's probably just sheer willpower. Kids will win over adults every time. And
Yeah.
the reason I can say that, and I have concrete proof, is you go into a grocery store and you see that kid fucking having a meltdown. 9 times out of 10, that parent is going to buy those Fruity Hoops or whatever the kid's crying about, just to
Yeah.
get him to shut up. So this one is just give him the light, get him to shut up, let him freaky dance and give me nightmares, and then we'll kick him out of the light and make Dennis go kidnap some kids.
Yeah, I was that dance scene was very disturbing. I've never experienced dubstep in that way before.
That's how I will always and forever view dubstep.
that scene made me laugh, and so did the when when he's in the beast mode and he's chasing her down and he knocks out all the lights. Just the image of him like running across. I don't know. He did it so weirdly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when he was like, when she locked herself in the cage with a shotgun, then he ran in the room into a separate room, and he's like, "Your gun's not gonna work on me."
But
And then
then
he just
dodges
like,
out of the way.
yeah, looks in the doorway and then just moves back,
Yeah.
and then comes in the room and gets shot twice. Like, what was the point in dodging the first ones, or did you just be like, "Oh wait, power of the human mind. I am the beast. Your bullets won't work on me, except I still got flesh wounds."
Yeah.
Which, I mean, if you're firing birdshot and you're flex the fuck up, it's not
So-
going through.
It did look like he ended up living in the zoo, but I thought that was very interesting after you see what his mom was freaking out about. Like you see, like Kevin, you made a mess. Like what the hell? I think it's kind of interesting that he chose to live in a zoo. Where you're just like, oh, that's what you think is like everything. If everything's crazy chaotic, I guess which makes sense because he is like the craziness going on in his mind is pure chaos, and then living in a zoo where it's infinitely messy. But
Yeah. Although I guess it could have just been happenstance too, because like he'd been at the job for a decade or over a decade at least, and he was now the head of maintenance. So I think once he got promoted, that's when he's like, okay, I can go into like one of these areas, clean it all up, make this like my secret base for kidnapping people, so I can bring the beast about and have him eat their tummies in peace. Which I was confused by. Why did he only eat the tummies? Both girls only had their stomachs eaten up, and then he also went for the third girl's stomach, but then he was like, oh shit, you were either abused or did that yourself, which means you were probably abused. We're cool. No num-nums.
no. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just probably just the most gruesome way to kill someone, probably.
Have you ever heard of
Eat their
bamboo
guts.
torture? I mean, it
Yeah,
takes-
I mean, if you're in the mindset of a beast that kills things with its mouth, like other than crushing their windpipe, like ripping out their entrails is pretty efficient
that's true. And I guess if he's like,
because they're squishy.
yeah, I guess if you based off an animal as well, all animals are gonna go with the softest part, which is usually the guts.
yeah.
Or the butthole.
Those are hyenas.
Yeah,
That's in
that would be
the,
the worst.
That's in the split porno version. I'm gonna eat your ass.
Which one of you guys is it? I posed a question to Zach earlier. I'd like to pose the same question to you, Justin. So, okay, Kevin Wendell Crumb goes to a bar. He sees a fly honey and he shoots a shot. And she's like, you know what? I'm down to look at your penis. And they go home and they have the sex. And then Hedwig pops up in the middle. Is that pedophilia?
It's definitely not okay.
Just get in the middle, about to climax, and all of a sudden, hey, what's up, guys? How's it going? You want a kiss? We're doing more than that. Oh!
You want to see me dance?
No, God, no.
It seemed in the movie like the small little details were like very, very well done. The fact that you hear the psychiatrist talking to Barry, aka Dennis, and she's telling the story of the Beast and how the Beast doesn't actually sit in the chairs with them. He's actually in the train yard where Kevin's dad ended up leaving him. And that is where Dennis goes to complete his Super Saiyan transformation, was at the train yard, like in the subway at the train yard.
Yeah, and Kevin also says that the last place he remembers being was on a train in 2014.
Yeah, which I looked it up because I thought it might have something to do with Unbreakable, because Unbreakable was about a guy surviving a train crash.
Oh yeah, something.
But there's nothing like coincidental about that. It was just, I believe it was actually due to Scotland, a vote for Scotland like to split from the UK.
Okay.
Yeah, but it didn't have anything to do with that. Although interesting fact about the movies, Unbreakable and Split, both of them found their powers, quote unquote, on a train.
Yeah.
Because Bruce Willis, like, he got in a train crash, right? And then James McAvoy had to go to a train yard to find the Beast.
Yeah. But in Glass, it actually explains a little bit of that. Or no, in I think it might have been in Glass, or it might have been in Unbreakable, where you actually see like Samuel L. Jackson's character is the one that created all these natural disasters or these accidents, trying to find the superhero. Is how, because he was obsessed with comics ever since he was younger, because he had brittle bones. He didn't drink his milk.
Is this like from a comic book series, or it's just M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong wrote these?
It's based off a comic book series. What is it?
Because it definitely seemed way too intricate for, like, I can see that he wrote it for a movie, but it definitely seemed way more advanced than anything he's done before.
Yeah, so I guess it's called the East Trail 177 trilogy. That's what this thing is talking about. It was on Screen Rant. I'm not gonna Google that though.
Right.
But I believe it was a comic book series before this, and it was just adapted.
Yeah, and based on his like Unbreakable did well, and based on his after Unbreakable, like he did The Sixth Sense before, which creepy as fuck. The twist at the end of that one was quite nice. Then he worked with Bruce Willis again on Unbreakable. Then he did Signs. That was Mel Gibson, I'm pretty sure. That was a weird fucking movie. They did The Village. I don't think I've actually seen The Village.
Is that the one with Nick Cage and the bees?
No, that's
Joaquin Phoenix, Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah, I can't remember what
Fun
the
fact
one.
about Joaquin Phoenix was actually originally one of the top players for James McAvoy's character.
Oh, really?
Kevin Wendell Crumb. Also, I was wrong. The East Rail 177 trilogy is actually written and directed by M. Night Shyamalan. So these are, like, he wrote these movies.
Wow, I'm surprised.
Yeah.
But yeah, The Village was like, this whole fucking thing happens in like kind of like an old style commune, kind of similar to Midsummer, except you never see the perspective of the outside world. The person finally escapes, and there's a road, and then there's blah, and you're just like the twist at the end is just that it's modern day,
Oh, okay.
and everyone was like, "Oh."
Yeah. And then yeah, I think after that, then he did like so. It seems like after Signs, he makes some interesting choices in films that end up
One
going
of them
poorly.
doesn't exist.
Yeah, there's Lady in the Water, which I didn't see that one either. But The Happening, great film, fantastic film, where the plants decide to
Yeah,
kill everyone.
that one definitely
Um,
makes me laugh.
then 2010, he did something. Um,
Yeah,
personally, I think is one of the greatest film achievements alive.
I will
But
punch you in your
yeah,
fucking
you're
throat.
do it for me.
He did The Last Airbender, and that's the
No!
last time that anyone will fuck up that goddamn beautiful piece of work.
yeah,
The show, the
I'll be
animated
so
show,
mad
fantastic.
if the new one is bad, which it probably is going to be because the writers left. So
yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Then he did After Earth, Will Smith and Jaden Smith. That one was real bad. Then a couple
I
other
think I
ones.
tried to watch that one. Right, this is like everyone's dead, and they just have like weird super tech, and they're just like on a weird planet or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and something called The Visit, and yeah, so pretty much in between Signs, just before Unbreakable, he had pretty shit movies, and then he came back with Split and nailed it. Had his directorial comeback. Um, and then the next one was Glass, which is the third part in this in the Unbreakable trilogy, which is actually really good. That one's a good movie. Um, what else we got here? Oh yeah, I said that fucking uncle. I hate that. I don't
Uncle
like that.
Touchy?
I don't like Uncle Touchy in anything.
I don't like that we never got a resolution to that. We assume at the end that she doesn't go back to him because she probably tells the cops, but I was really hoping that she was gonna like call for help or something like that, and then like the uncle was gonna show up, and then she was gonna blast him.
Yeah, I that it's like having that in movies is one of those things that just instantly just irks me, and it just
I mean, it's there to make you feel a thing, and it does. So
yeah, which I'm not a fan of, but I acknowledge that it is there, and it does. It's a good thing that it actually makes you feel, hopefully, anger and like malice towards the person that's doing the touching. But yeah,
I'd kill a chomo.
you you kill a what?
A chomo? Sorry, that's what people in prison call child molesters.
Oh,
I haven't
they
watched a
shorten
lot
it
of
up?
Zach Galloway on TikTok. Yeah.
it's kind of weird that they just like off her dad because clearly her dad was weird anyways. Like she potentially could have been fucked up even without the raping because he was just like a weirdo. And then they're just like, he died of heart disease. And you're just like, what?
Yeah. Also, why did he die? And then the Uncle Touchy was just like, "Yeah, it runs in our family, heart disease." Like, well, why couldn't you like?
Yeah, he's like 3 times the weight of the older brother.
Yeah. Plus, he does strenuous activity with a child constantly.
Yeah.
I want to kill a chomo. I'll do it.
Do you think there's a reason why they made him and her play animals? It was like
'Cause
like
animals
he,
don't wear
he was
clothes.
the villain. Well, he was the villain of her childhood, and then the Beast is now the new villain.
Well, I think it's hard to say. Honestly, it feels like they wanted to have a gun scene, but they couldn't think of a reason why a teenage girl would know how to use one. So then they came up with this story, and then they were just like, she also needs to have a damaged background, and then they just did it all in one go. I think that's how it worked out. The gun scene didn't really pay off though, so I don't know if that was worth it, but whatever.
Yeah, I don't. Why did he cock the gun so many times to see if it was loaded? Was that just like?
No,
Because I
it
didn't see any
was
I think
shells spitting out.
I think he was just
Shells,
doing that
Shells
to.
did. No, Shells did come out.
Oh,
Yeah,
they did.
I think he was
Okay.
just doing that also to make sure there was nothing left in it in case she got cheeky again and wanted to shoot him. Also, according to the Unbreakable wiki, uh, after she and the cop had like that long staring contest, after the cop was like, "Hey, your uncle's here," she reported him and he went to jail. I don't know if that was explained maybe in Glass.
I don't
Oh
know.
shit, Glass is apparently only 3 weeks after that incident.
Yeah, like it's Glass starts out. I think they uh, this guy or Samuel L. Jackson's character actually plans the meeting of these two individuals, Bruce Willis's character, Unbreakable character,
Mhm.
and then the Beast, to try. It's the
The hero and the villain.
immovable object versus unstoppable force. Is that the
I think so. Yeah.
yeah? So the fact that Bruce Willis just like literally, and then the doctor in it is trying to convince them that there is nothing special about them, and then at the end of that one, they um, she reports back to like a head office or not head
Secret
office,
society.
but yeah,
Pretty
secret
much.
society that these people are out there. These there are villains, there are super people, and they can be made.
Yeah, because I think that's like the whole point of the series, like just to show that um, the human mind, like as long as you believe it, anything is possible. But with enough skepticism, like enough people, like, oh no, that didn't really happen. And then the person's like, okay, maybe it didn't really happen.
Yeah,
So think of all the crazy shit you've heard people say and rethink it, because that shit may have actually happened. Maybe Johnny down the block really did get finger banged by aliens.
yeah. Makes me a little bit nervous though with all the crazies out there now, and I gotta get something done to me so I can get a superpower.
Just get your COVID shot. I'm sure there's a lot of shit in there.
Please make more.
Oh god, yeah, we definitely need more. You hear about the fucking nurse that purposely left a bunch of the COVID vaccine out of a refrigerator so it would go bad?
No.
Yeah, they got arrested. And then
Good.
the hospital went on a fucking spree of just injecting as many people as they
Nice.
could before
They
it
didn't
actually
even
went
waste
bad.
it. Nice.
Yeah, I don't know if any of it actually went bad, but I know like they were on a fucking like mission. They're like, okay, we need to get this into people now. Just walk up to people in the lobby. Hey, have you had your COVID shot? Now you
Yeah, I
have.
think most hospitals are like so desperate for nurses that there's probably a lot of retards that get in.
Yeah, well, a lot of the nurses are quitting their jobs at hospitals and becoming traveling nurses because you're getting paid double or triple what the people that work at that hospital are. I think you can end up working less hours and still getting much more money because the people at the hospitals in the states are just like, no, we don't want to give you money, but we need help, so we're gonna hire all these nurses, and they're like, well, we're just gonna go work at that place because then you're gonna pay me more and I'll still be working here.
Yeah, pretty much any medical profession you can work wherever the fuck you want in the world because everyone's like, we need more
Yeah,
help.
especially now.
So what do you guys think? You guys think that you guys got superpowers now?
I think I need to go to a train station beforehand because apparently that's where people find out their powers.
And you'll Hulk out?
No, there's already a Hulk. That's Bruce Willis's character. I think I'm gonna be the Green Lantern of the universe, a plucky comedy relief who gets knocked the fuck out 5 seconds into the final.
Oh,
baddie fight.
you're gonna be fucking what's his face movie Green Lantern?
Yes, I'm gonna be Ryan
Not even
Reynolds'
cool
Green
Green
Lantern.
Lantern. No. All I can remember about that movie is him taking the thing and turning it into like a fucking racetrack with a shitty race car on it. I was like, what?
Yeah,
What? All the things you could do, and you're like, I'm gonna build something that has wheels and needs a track and build the track.
yeah. It was that was quite the that was a choice that could have ended a career. To be honest with you.
Yeah, yeah. If he wasn't so charismatic like that, it definitely would have been the end. But because isn't like I'm not huge into comics, but I'm pretty sure the Green Lantern's like it's like a whole like force, and they're all like super badass. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And then the movie, they're just like, here's some shit, and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, they definitely like underplayed the Hal Jordan. Like he was supposed to be a visionary, I think, when it came to like using the Green Lantern.
Yeah, I was super like the only Green Lantern I knew about as a kid was black and like super stern and awesome. And then when I saw that and it was just like quirky white dude, I was like, this is not my Green Lantern. Like I realized there's a billion of them, so it can be whatever you want, but I was super like, what is this?
Yeah,
And then it was also bad, so I was like, oh no.
I think if they used that Green Lantern character in like Justice League, it would have done well because it would have been like the dumbass plucky comedy relief. Like you have all these powers, but you still suck ass, and this guy in a bat suit that doesn't do shit or doesn't have any powers is still better than you.
Yeah.
What kind of powers do you think you would have in this universe, Zach?
In this one,
Yeah,
um, I don't know. I think I'd probably be close to like Samuel L. Jackson's character in the.
broke.
Well, yeah, no. More of the lines of like being able to like plot, scheme,
Oh, okay.
pit two people against each other type deal. Because honestly, I did that a lot in high school, where I would come up with great ideas that I knew that if I did them, I would get in trouble. So then I convinced other people to do them, and then they got in trouble, and I still got to laugh.
Well, that's how you do it. You make other people do your dirty work because that's
Yeah.
the ultimate villain, the villain that's never seen.
Yeah.
I want to know the guy behind the Joker.
What are the rules of this world? Because having not seen the other two, I don't even know what the other characters do.
I think it's honestly like sheer willpower sort of brings it in because like Glass's character, he had no function, like no real function in his arms and legs because he wake up, break his legs and arms every morning. So
Yeah.
the only thing he had was his mind. So he's like, I got this has got to be good. Bruce Willis, like unbreakable. I survived a plane crash or a train crash with not a scratch on me. I'm gonna go home and lift weights in front of my son.
Yeah.
No matter the weight, he's like, no, I got this. I can fucking do it.
Yeah, they put like there was like all the plates, like 3 or 4 like tubs, like 5-gallon pails of paint on top of the bar, and like the bar had a fucking curve. In it.
Yeah, and he's
Like,
still
it
like,
was-
got
yeah.
it, breathe it out.
and he would still do it, and it was insane. So he literally he was the one that could not be hurt, and then Samuel L. Jackson's character, you could flick him and then shatter like 10 bones.
I could sneeze in the next room over, and he'd be like, "Fuck, I broke my toe."
Yeah. And then obviously the split personality guy who just fucking hulks out and does his Saiyan routine and done.
So yeah, I guess it would just be maybe situational, or it's just sheer willpower.
Yeah.
I'd want to fly. I'd will myself to fucking fart up a storm and right up in the sky.
Let's be honest, Justin would be the tech guy. 100%.
Yeah, I guess so. I would just be able to disassemble and fix anything. That'd be alright, I guess. Until I go crazy and I'm like, I'm gonna disassemble a person.
Yeah.
It's just technology. It's just human.
And all of a sudden he takes James McAvoy's character and then makes them all their own bodies.
Yeah, I could probably do that actually.
Frankenstein.
Do you see if there was an even number of like dudes and chicks in this guy's body, or do you think there's more dudes?
I don't. Well,
It's
I
interesting
know
that he had like some.
There was only 2 girls, right? Patricia and the I don't know if she was a meth head or diabetic.
That was
she just had a needle.
Yeah, she was complaining about having to use insulin.
That's I was like, she looks kind of weird, so maybe it's a meth thing, but like I don't know.
They only showed 8 of the personalities in the movie. So we got Kevin Wendell Crumb, Barry S., Dennis, Miss Patricia, Hedwig, Jade, which is the female that had to use the insulin. Who else? We got Orwell, who was like the professor guy, the Beast. Heinrich, never seen, but his name was on the screen. Samuel. Mary Reynolds, which is another female. She was seen a little bit in Glass.
Yeah.
Ian, Norma, Mr. Pritchard, Luke. What is this? Oh, Luke apparently briefly speaks with Mr. Glass in a heavy accent in Glass. Goddard, Bernice, Polly, Raquel, Felida, Ansel, Jalen, and Kat. And then the Beast. Did anyone count how many females?
No. Yeah, I lost it.
I think it was
Kat.
only 3 or 4 or something.
Felida. Sounds like a feminine name. Raquel. Bernice.
Polly,
Yeah.
Mary Reynolds.
Norma. Mary Reynolds. Jade. And Miss Patricia. So there's 9. I believe.
Okay, so
Decent split.
yeah.
I also like the little nod. Like I think it would have been better if there was more clothes, but I guess maybe that shows like the difference in the amount of time that the different personalities have in the light, because there was on his clothes rack in the dungeon, there was separate names for like the different sections of clothes.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, and Hedwig has his own room.
I think that was just all of their room. Because I don't think Hedwig was the mastermind behind the booby corner. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah.
I did not.
Yeah, it was a bunch of like pictures cut out of like a Sears catalog of like the lingerie stuff, just like
Nice.
pasted in the corner.
Although the whole room just had like kids' art and stuff like that. I think that just was his room. I think Hedwig had his own room, and then Patricia had the kitchen, obviously. And but also, Jordan also pointed out how those prisoners had a much nicer bathroom than he does.
Yeah, I know. I'm pretty upset about that. Where's my split personality that has OCD and can clean my toilets?
Yeah, that was some weird thing with Patricia too, though, because like it always had a flower in it, and like she made sure to put a flower anywhere she was. So, I don't. Also, what was the significance of the bouquet of flowers being pushed into the ground before he got on the train?
I don't know. I did see a couple things online. One was a little nod to Kevin's father, because while it's never specified, fans think that Kevin's father was on the train that Bruce Willis's character was on. And
Oh,
that's
so it's
when
like
he
him
died.
visiting a grave.
Yeah, pretty much like they're paying their respects to the
Gotcha.
father, and also maybe paying tribute to the Beast. Be like, hey, I brought you these pretty flowers. Now, why don't you come outside and rip people apart for me, please? Eat their tum tums.
Huh.
Oh man. Apparently, this film was received poorly in the mental illness and dissociative identity disorder communities.
I can definitely see that. It definitely is some weird. Like they don't. They should have made it something different. Like rather than just making it DID, like why not just call it like some new thing, just to like try to take it away, like not make it seem like you're being cruel.
Yeah, I guess so. But I think I think he did like an okay job balancing it with having the psychiatrist in there and actually showing a positive psychiatrist in it. But it was like
For sure. But it was just clearly like she thought this was like something different, right? Like they all had like she thought that they could have magical powers and whatever. So like they could have easily just said like this is a new thing or whatever, right?
yeah,
Rather than just being like all DID can potentially have fucking magic powers.
yeah. You just get people to sit in the corner. Just, come on, abuse me. I need this.
You think after this movie came out, people were like waiting in the therapist's office, like, "What do you got?" "Oh, I'm really depressed." "What do you got?" "I got DID." "Can you fly?"
Yeah.
Can you climb this wall? Because it's very porous.
Well, I think when it comes to like any movies that are about like some sort of mental illness, it's just even if you're not diagnosed, it's a human trait where you want to see similarities in certain things and you want to make connections. So maybe not going like super hypochondriac, but actually being like, okay, like it's the same reason why. Uh, what are those fucking things called with the signs? Um,
With the signs.
yeah, like Virgo and Capricorn. What's
Star signs? I don't know.
no, but like what is that called? Like when they
Oh,
write it.
astrology.
Yeah, but when they write the thing, like that written thing, like here's your
Horoscope?
horoscope.
Oh,
That's the word.
horoscope.
Fuck.
With the signs?
Yeah,
What the,
'cause-
that's a horrible description.
yeah. Well, it's your Capricorn. Here's your horoscope.
Yeah,
We got
but if
we
you
got
said,
there
like,
eventually.
Yeah.
The star sign of it. Okay.
Yeah, so it's the same concept as that, is where you make it vague enough so that people are like, oh yeah, they can find the relationship to themselves. I think because it ends up happening a lot, because then people just want an answer to their problems, almost.
Yeah.
So I find that tough with a lot of mental, like movies that deal with mental health, because people just self-diagnose themselves.
Yeah, that and like people experience things very differently as well. Like there is a general, like depending on I guess the mental illness, there's a general pattern that people will follow, but every single person is going to have something about their specific interaction with it. Like it's going to be different in some way.
Yeah.
Was it actually people like that had DID that had an issue with this, or was it just like
Apparently,
SJW is going because offense?
the International Society for the Study of Trauma and Dissociation
Okay.
cited. That was just a study, but yeah, just some psychiatrists in the field had a problem with it. What's this?
I guess because she also the movie only focused on the negative, right? Like it was these three people are taking over this human, and then they're gonna try and summon something that's going to hurt people, instead of like, hey, this is Patricia, Brenda, and Jonathan. They paint people's houses, feed the homeless, and shave the homeless, respectively.
Yeah, yeah. He says films and stories vilify and demonize mental illness in general, and DID in particular. The viewer does not understand how hard it can be for that person to survive. Yeah, I think it's tough in that sense, because you can't actually go like the movie would be too long if you actually jumped into, because it said that guy had been doing well for 10 years.
Yeah.
So in order to because mental is such a big thing, you gotta have like a TV series, like in order to be able to accurately explain everything and show that these people, it is hard for them to survive, and it is hard for them to do that.
I don't know. Maybe because I'm reading online now, and there is a 3-hour-long director's cut of the movie. So I'm thinking maybe they went in more in depth into that in there, or they could have.
Yeah.
But yeah, you definitely need like minimum, I'd say another hour just to like if you wanted to go into that. But this one was based off of that Billy Milligan, sorry, the guy that actually had like 24 personalities and was convicted of, or falsely convicted of a crime because of one of his personalities.
Yeah.
But I think that's always going to be a sore spot with Hollywood, because you can't please everyone. So what are you going to do? Please the people that are giving you money.
Yeah, that is true.
So the three companies that own basically everything.
All right. Well, let's get our ratings in. All right, Jordan, what did you think?
I'm gonna give it 6 dead chomos on a train car.
All right, 6 dead chomos. All right,
God, I wish
Justin.
there were more.
I'm gonna say the acting was really good. It's just the premise is a little bit meh, but it was enjoyable. So I'd say like a 6.5 or a 7, probably.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go with a 7 as well, just as the acting pushed it through. The ideas were interesting to me, like the psychology behind it. I love that shit, and the writing wasn't terrible. Like he definitely got over his little 2010 hump with this one and came back. So what do we got? Do the math, Jordan.
We got a 6.66666666666 for the Beast.
Oh, number of the beast.
Yeah.
6.66 out of 10. Look at that. All right. Also, and let's what we'll in this while I'm picking the next movie for the next week's podcast, I will let Justin know that Jeff actually enjoyed The Prestige.
What?
Yeah, I know. It was
He didn't
weird.
just like lose his mind at the Tesla part?
Nope. He
Wow.
was perfectly into it, and everyone
He's
was
growing.
shocked.
I almost
All
pooped my
right.
pants. But I vowed not to do that this year.
New year, new you.
Right. Looks like
No, just
the
new bowels.
next movie that we'll be reviewing is Mr. Nobody. So we'll watch that and get back to you next week and see how everyone liked that. I know nothing about this movie, so should be interesting.
I watched this one a few months ago. It's an interesting one.
This one actually I've seen probably about, I'd say half a dozen times.
Really, eh?
Yeah. Never sober, or maybe once. It'll fuck you up.
Okay. Well,
I mean, it's got Jared Leto in it though, so I mean, it's the only.
Yeah, that's the only bad part. But I mean,
Yeah.
this ain't no Joker.
All right.
Does he still have his cult going, or did that?
Like what do you like? Is Joker cult or
No, Jared Leto didn't he like go off and like make a cult?
no? That was his band, 30 Seconds to Mars.
Which is very unrealistic. It would take a very long time to get to Mars.
I don't know if he has a cult.
I'm pretty sure maybe I'm thinking of a different dude with long hair, but I'm pretty sure he like
I think that was Jesus.
went crazy and started a cult.
No, apparently he did. What is this? The Cult of Jared Leto. Well, Leto made headlines for starting a cult in Croatia. The actor and musician also has several close collaborators that make up the creative cult of Jared Leto. Last year, so it was 2019. Yeah, I guess Jared Leto and his band started a cult.
All right. So we'll talk about cults as well next week because I'm sure it's going to get to that because we'll forget about this conversation. Follow us on Twitter @ByRailside. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share with your friends. Let us know how terribly we're doing these so that we can make them worse. And if you got any movie suggestions or any thoughts on Split, toss them down in a comment section below or tweet at us. Yeah.
And if you have multiple personality disorder, please let us know if all your personalities use different toothbrushes like in the movie, because that seems kind of confusing to me. Like, I guess maybe if separate people all in one, I wouldn't want to use the same toothbrush as another person, right?
I'll
Okay.
discuss it. Think of Zach using your toothbrush right now. How
I
do you feel
want to
about
hit
that?
him.
Yeah. It's pretty gross. Also, on the same topic, make sure all your personalities hit that like button.
Yeah, all of them create separate accounts. And let me know if you've ever had two personalities in a relationship in your head. Fucking.
Would you fuck me? Alright, fuck me.
I am fucking me.
See you later.
See ya.